pills and stuff. But I told that story in another podcast, so I'll leave it off. But this specific group of friends, man, they, for whatever reason, like they really got into meth. And I think there was about 5 of us that would normally hang out, and there was a 6th person that came in and that was like, hey, I have some meth. And one of them was like, I've done meth. The other one's like, I want to do meth. And me, I've always been like, I'm good with my 4 Locos.
Yeah.
So I would hang out with this group. Essentially, everybody in the group got really into meth and so oblivious and just being social and just really enjoying being around people. I never even once thought about doing it, but I would still hang out with him. And so we'd go over to this, like a studio apartment pretty much. And they would have their setup and they were like getting ready to do this meth. And I'm like, I just got there and I had like a pack of cigarettes and a Black and Mild like I was used to. And then I had my 2 4 Locos. And I would just drink while they would all do meth. And we'd all hang out still. And it would like get, it looking back and it was weirder. At the time, it wasn't weird at all. And I would just look around and they would be like, just like in the chair, like doing nothing, but wide awake, but doing nothing. And I would just be sitting there drinking. And because my mind was also altered, I didn't realize how out of their minds they were. And so they were just in all night. Obviously, I would burn out because I'm drinking. And they were just like, we got to get more meth. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home. And I did that for like a whole summer. I would hang out with them every night. I would get wasted and they would do meth. And looking back on it, I'm like, why did I hang out with those people? Like, why did I do that?
Yeah, dude. I was the same way, you know. I would regret it, like being up all night, like just stuck on my phone looking at the same shit.
Do you feel, because I have a question, because I noticed it with them and I've always wondered because I've never done it. Does it make you feel like you don't want to go anywhere? Is that a part of it where you just want to stay still?
Well, see, dude, some people it hits different because being on the drug and being around the people who do it, you know, I'm different. When I'm on it, I'm sitting in a corner, I'm smoking a cigarette, which I never do, or you know what I mean? But then you have those people who are working on it. You know, they're doing jobs. I'm like, man, I'm trying to be indoors.
Oh, so people do use it and go to work.
I know people that
is wild.
From back in the day that would do it and they knew how do they say it? Like what would they used to tell me? I was a functional alcoholic. They're functional meth addicts.
Really? I mean? So they would just go to work.
Yeah. The only way you could tell really is by their eyes. You know, their eyes are and yeah, but they were functional people on it. You could be near that dude every day and you're doing meth. You know what I mean?
Just not know it.
Not even know it.
Yeah.
Me, I was opposite. I was that person stuck in the chair, eyes wide open. Next thing I know, 48 hours passed. It's like same clothes. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know?
And when you would come off of it, did you like sleep a lot? Like
I wouldn't, dude. You know, like after the 2 days, I'd be like, I'm done with this shit. This is it. I don't like this. And I would maybe take 1 day off. Next morning, right back on it. You know, It's just after those long, hard days, you're like, oh, I'm so done with this shit. I just want to go home, eat, and you know, but nah, man.
Almost like the guy hungover that's like, I'm never drinking again. And then he sobers up by that night and then he's drinking again.
Yeah, next morning he's drinking. You know what I mean? It's just
Is it hard for you to talk about this stuff? Like, does it bring you nostalgia? Okay, I probably should have asked first.
Yeah, because some people, they're always telling me, you're like, I'm telling you, you're just so open about it. Like, I
got that sense, which is why I asked, but I don't want to like put you in a weird spot.
You're fine. And people say, you don't get those cravings or ever think. I'm like, man, I would never even, you could honestly put, my fantasy girls would say an actress where, you know, a girl you fantasize probably $1 million on a table and tell me smoke this meth pipe and drink this beer. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not going to do it.
I think that works in your benefit. I can see that in you. It's almost like the red button effect.
Yes.
Where it's like, because you're able to acknowledge it, you're able to not do it. But the people that I can't be around it and I don't want to talk about it, they almost create this red button you can't push. And so it sets them up for failure later. I'm not saying that some people work well like that. So by all means, keep doing it. But I can tell you're the kind of guy that the more you talk about it, the more you're open about it, the more control you have over it.
Yeah.
And the more you're like, I'm just not going to do it.
Like you're saying, you have those people like, oh man, you can't talk about that stuff around. I'm an ecstatic, man. I feel I need to do it now because of you mentioning it. I'm different. You know what I mean? Like I said, I can go to a hangout or someplace now and, you know, take beer and alcohol and not even everybody's drinking but me.
And you're good with it.
People are like, hey, man, just have one. But I always tell myself that one thing could be a full-blown relapse. And next thing you know, I'm back to ground zero.
There's stuff to do.
There's no way I would ever even, you know, on Christmas, just to have one taste. I'm scared. Yeah. I'm scared to even have the wine at church. You know, the little one they give you for communion. I just don't want to taste it again at all.
that's good that you know what you're capable of and where you're at. Cause I think people struggle sometimes with that, where they're like, maybe, and then you're right. Friends will be like, we can have a little, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, and I believe some people could, but some people that can't, they need to know that.
Yeah.
And you sound like you're someone that's like, hey, I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So you say it all you want. Like, I'm good. I'm good right where I'm at.
You just watched. It's all right. But this next one, click on the video. You'll see what I'm talking about.